incantations or affirmations before, right? Let me ask you a question. For how many minutes have you done that on a daily basis? 15 minutes, okay. 5 minutes, frequently, 10 minutes. Okay, so let me give you this perspective. We have how many hours per day? We have around 24 hours, yes? Out of those 24 hours that we have, only about 2 hours or 3 hours or even 15 minutes, we are in what we say the conscious mind. How many of you realize that we have 3 minds, right? We have the superconscious, we have the subconscious, and we have the conscious mind. Clear so far? So when we have these 3 minds, from which one do you create your reality? Which one you are continuously working and creating your reality? I could not enter the Zoom, had to click. Okay, beautiful. So maybe if the team can check if there is any problem with the Zoom, that will be very good. Thank you so much. Okay, some of you are saying conscious, some of you are saying subconscious, conscious. Okay, I'll give you the example of what happened. Most of the time, the superconscious, people don't even access to the superconscious mindset. Okay, and I'll explain to you why in 1 minute. From subconscious or conscious, out of the 24 hours that we have of the day, only 3 hours or less you spend it in a conscious mindset. So let me give you an example. You chant, I want to be abundant. I want to be powerful. I want to be beautiful. I want to have the beautiful woman of my life. Okay? You are consciously saying those words, and you're consciously thinking, and you're consciously having that emotion. Yes or yes? What happened is the remaining of your hours, let's say the remaining of your 21 hours, you go into the subconscious mind. So let's say that you want to manifest money. How many of you here want to manifest money, by the way? Right? And you say, I want to be abundant. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be all of these different things. Then you go off home, you go to the supermarket, and even though you say that you wanted to become abundant and you want to become a freedom lifestyle, you have 2 options. How many options? 2. You have the organic version, which is slightly a little bit more pricey, and you have the regular version. Yes or yes? Which one do you tend to choose? Please type in the chat and be honest with me. Do you choose the organic, the healthy version, or you choose not the organic one and the cheaper option? For those of you who are saying cheaper one, why are you choosing the cheaper one if you want to become a millionaire, right? If you really think so, the millionaires won't be thinking, oh, should I choose this or should I choose that? They're always going for abundance, right? There's 2 types of mindset. Make sure to write this down. The lack mindset and the abundance mindset. A lot of the times we are functioning under the subconscious mind with all of our BS in the lack mindset. Are you guys understanding this? So this is why it's very important for you to be able to start manifesting from thinking, oh, I wish I could be something like this, or I wish I could be a millionaire, into your reality. The first thing that you need to understand is, how does my mind work? How does my mind operate? Are you guys understanding this? So there's 3 things that you need to look into. Number 1 is your mind, your thoughts. Okay. What is your daily thoughts? Can anybody tell me what are your daily thoughts? Are they positive or are they negative? Are you thinking scarcity mindset or are you taking abundance mindset? Are you saying I can have it all, or maybe I should choose from two options? Are you thinking that is too expensive or that is okay? How many of you here have ever said that is too expensive? Anybody here have ever said this before? Let me ask you a question. A lot of the times people say, oh, let me give you an example. This phone is too expensive. It's Apple. I prefer to buy another brand, right? But if you really think about it, the question is expensive compared to what? Because how many of you here have invested $1,000 just in food? Anybody here have bought a lot of food one time and there's so much food in your house? And sometimes when you decide to go to, I don't know, maybe buying a better car or a better house, you think that is too expensive. Anybody here have ever had this before? So the question for you is, what is my mind doing? What is my subconscious mind coming from? What are the belief systems that I'm having with my mind? So the first thing that you need to take into acknowledgement is your mind. How is your mind processing? If my mind is processing into the subconscious mind, right? How many of you here drive, by the way? Anybody here have ever had a moment before where you're driving and you want to go to the store, for example, but you end up being somewhere else? Anybody here have ever had this before? Why is that? Because you are in an autopilot reality. Are you guys understanding this? Your subconscious is determining your reality. And whatever you have in your mind, whatever BS, whether it's a good BS or not good so BS, is creating this reality. Are you guys understanding this? So to be able to create your desires from just your thinking to your desires, to be able to create this reality, the first thing that you need to acknowledge is, how is my mind doing? Is that okay? Because from your mind, then you get into your emotions. How many of you here gets angry very easily? Anybody here is getting very angry, or you have mood swings, or you can be very, very, very happy, and then you can be very, very, very mad? Or how many of you cried all the time? You're like, did the dog die? Right? How many of you feel emotional? Or how many of you here have no emotion at all? You feel like it's okay, whatever, I didn't get affected, right? Why am I bringing up emotion? And please make sure to write this down. Universe language is energy. Universe language is energy. Emotion is energy in motion. Emotion is energy in motion. The higher the energy, the bigger the emotion, the bigger the manifestation, the faster the manifestation. What does that mean? Anybody here has ever woken up a morning and you feel angry? You feel like everything is going wrong in your life. The coffee drops, the spoons drops, you go out, you almost hit someone, somebody bump into you, you get into office, everybody's mad, everybody's moody. Anybody here have ever had these weird days? The gray days, I call it, right? Why is that? Because the emotion that you carry from one moment to another moment, to another moment, to another moment, is that emotion that is constantly happening. Therefore, it creates your reality. How many of you here have ever been in love before? Anybody here have ever been in love? They say that, what? Love makes people stupid, right? You do all of the different things about the person that you love. Why? Because this love energy makes you do things that you never thought you would do. How many of you have ever done something that you never thought you'd have done, but you did it because of love? Anybody here? So this energy, this emotion is one of the most powerful tools to be able to get what you want. Sometimes people say, oh yeah, manifestation doesn't work. Manifestation, please make sure to write this down, is a law. Manifestation is always working, whether you are looking at it in the positive way or you are looking into the negative way. Okay, what does that mean? How many of you here have ever woken up another day and you are happy? And you smile at your wife, you smile at your family, and it seems that today was an amazing day. How many of you here have ever had this before? You say, oh, today was a beautiful day. Then my question to you is, what was the difference between the day that you were frustrated and angry and the difference between that you were happy and peaceful and blissful? Is your energy and your perception in life. Are you guys understanding this? So number one, your mind. How is your mind processing the information that you're getting from your thoughts into your reality? Number two, what is the accelerator of your emotions? Is this emotion a positive emotion or is it a negative emotion? And how this emotion is affecting my reality, right? How many of you here gets angry very easily for little tiny things? Anybody here gets frustrated? Oh, they put music again. Oh, I can't believe that they don't turn the AC on. Right? And how many of you, there's some things in life that they no longer bother you? Yeah, it's okay. I don't mind if they're turning the AC. What has changed within you is your consciousness. Your awareness that life is not just a little thing, and therefore the things doesn't go through you, and you no longer react. Are you guys understanding this? So when it comes to manifestation, the more aware, the more conscious you become about your reality, the faster your manifestation comes. Why? Because the energy that you put towards something will not be diverted. Imagine you want to manifest becoming a millionaire. Are you going to be bothered about whether or not they turn on the AC? Are you guys understanding this? You become a laser-focused manifestation beast. Okay? So number one, your mindset. Number two, your emotions. And number three, the most important one, is your actions. How many of you here have ever been so mad at something or someone that you end up doing things that you don't recognize yourself? Anybody here have ever done that before? Right? And you're like, oh my God, I cannot believe I just did that. Why is that? Because if you really think about it, you're driving, you're feeling an emotion, and you got there without even knowing that you got there. You take some sort of actions to get there. And the biggest problem that I see when it comes to manifestation is a lot of the times people think that just by tapping into your third eye, doing a wishy-washy something, you will get your manifestation. But in reality, and please make sure to write this down, you're still a human. How many of you realize that you're still humans? Please touch your ear, your eyes, your ears, your nose, right? And if you want to move from this place to Aruba or the Bahamas, how many of you realize that you need to go into a plane, land into the Bahamas, and go into the beach? How many of you realize this, right? It's not like you can tap into your third eye and feel the breeze and the heat of the sun and the sand of the beach. Are you guys understanding this? Taking the action is the denominator factor for your manifestations to come true. Why do I know that? Remember how I mentioned that I flew all the way from Florida to India? I took some certain actions, so my reality changed. Let me tell you something. My life, I don't know how many of you here might relate with this, but I did everything I needed to do that my parents told me to do till I was 22, 23. I went to college, I got a degree, I looked for a job. I even went in debt over $340,000. For what? For depression, for anxiety, for feeling stuck into my life. And I realized that all of the actions that I've taken is based on what other people wanted from me. Anybody here have ever had this before? You do things based on other people's expectations. You do things based on other people's scarcity mindset and other people believe. And when I realized that this was happening, I had to reveal myself and say, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. And I'm going to do something that my soul thinks that is good for me. Anybody here have ever heard about intuition, by the way? Is intuition bad or intuition good? What do you guys think? Do you think that feeling your intuitive gut is a good thing, yes or no? But what happens when you have an intuition and then you take that action and then you realize that that was not the right action? How do you know that your intuition is always right? Right? I'll tell you how you know if your intuition is right. Is if your mind and your heart are in the same page. How many of you here has a job that you completely hate? Or you don't want to be in that job? Yet at the same time, you don't want to quit your job, because if you quit your job, it means that you no longer have income, security income. How many of you here know or have ever been in a situation before that you were with someone just because you feel comfortable, but not truly because you love them? Or how many of you here have been in an environment before that you're not truly happy, but yet at the same time you stay there because you are too afraid and you have too many fears to get out of your comfort zone? And when it comes to manifesting those desires, let me tell you something. You have to overcome fear. Please make sure to write this down. You need to take an action that overcomes the fear. We always say here in Ayamverse and with Master Shakarshana is feel the fear and do it anyway. Let me tell you something. When I was in India, when I was in Miami, I came from Miami. My family was living in Miami. I had to feel the fear of thinking that my intuition was right, flying all the way to India, hoping, crossing my fingers, that it was the right decision. I couldn't tell anybody that what I felt and what I thought was the right decision. Because imagine, anybody here have sons or kids, right? Imagine your daughter telling you that she's leaving everything aside and she's going to go to somewhere you woo-woo, washy-wishy, somewhere that you don't even know about, to India. How many of you think that that is pretty cuckoo to do? But in my mind, I was brave to follow my heart, to listen to my heart and follow my heart. Because this is why and how you can break the cycle of actually manifesting your realities. Does that make sense? And I know and I understand that maybe not everybody right here will be able to take that action, because I know that a lot of you might have some sort of fear. Are you guys understanding this? So I'm going to share with you, by the way, this is not part of the, the masterclass, but I felt the need of sharing this with you guys, right? Because I truly believe that if you master this part of feeling the fear and taking the action, your life will completely change. How many of you here are afraid of the unknown things? Anybody here are afraid of the unknown things? Anybody here are afraid of the new things? Anybody afraid or have anxiety about not knowing what's going to happen next? Let me tell you something. Till today, I feel the fear. Till today, I feel the uncertainty. I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no income security or no security whatsoever in my upcoming years. But you guys want to know something? And please make sure to write this down. Be open. How many of you believe that the universe got you back? That the universe is always working for you. And that was the only thing while I was going through my journey of self-discovery and manifestation. That was the only thing that got me through it. The trust that everything is always working out for me, even if it might not look like. Because some of you might think, how am I going to know that the universe is always working out for me? I don't know how to pay rent. I just got heartbroken, and you tell me that this is a good thing? How many of you know what I'm talking about? And I know what some of you might have gone through or what you're going through. Because just like you, I'm a human. And I've gone through the journey of being alone, feeling that I don't fit in, feeling that nobody understands me. Anybody here have ever felt like this before? And so the three things that I'm going to share with you, I mean, I've gone a little bit of their time, but the three things that I'm going to share with you has helped me and thousands of people to do the same. Is it okay if I'm honest with you guys? I'm a little bit vulnerable with you guys. The other day, I was actually speaking with my sister, one of my sisters, and I realized that she was going through the same problems that I was going through about 4 years ago. And I don't know about how many of you here have ever even thought of the idea of taking out your life or saying, you know, I don't want this anymore. And when I knew that at that moment from my sister, I said, I need to do something even more than what I'm doing. Because if you're hearing this call, by the way, this is not my presentation that I usually will do. I'm not following any of the guidelines that I'm supposed to follow. But I have this emotion and this feeling from what you guys are giving me to let you know that if you have come here today, it's because there is some intentions on some prayers that you've been praying for, or some intentions that you've been putting out that finally are going to get answered today. And probably I'm wrong. Probably you think that I'm a cuckoo, crazy lady. But the only thing that I would like for you to write big into your notes is feel the fear and do it anyway. Try new things, do something different, because I can guarantee you that whatever you're doing till today, and if you're here, is because probably most likely it's not working out for you. So do something different, because that's what I did. I took a different approach, and as a result, I got a different life. I got the life that I truly wanted. And I only wish that you guys get the same. Is that okay for everybody? So how many of you here are willing to take the action? How many of you here are willing to go into the unknown? How many of you here are ready to dive deep into trusting the universe and say that you're open? Type open inside the chat. Beautiful, beautiful. I already took the action. And by the way, you guys, of course you took the action. You're here listening. But there is something that we always say. The notes, can you please share with me the notes that you have taken so far? Show me the notes. Can we make an agreement and pinky promise and say that these notes are not going to be shelf transformational notes? That when you finish this masterclass, you're not just going to close the notes and leave it in your desk or in your shelf. But is it okay that you take this information and apply it into your life so you can actually see some transformation in your life, not in the shelf? Is that okay for everybody? Can we pinky promise? Beautiful. So please, everybody, take a deep inhale and slow exhale. And again, a deep inhale and slow exhale. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to share with you 3 secrets. Now these are the actual secrets. I'm going to share with you the 3 secrets that I wanted to share with you today. Okay, and the name of this, I actually, before I go into the name, if you can align, please make sure to write this down. If you're able to align these 3 things, we call it absolute alignment. I can guarantee you probably 101% that you can get this. The only thing that requires from you is action. Is that okay for everybody? Action to put in the time and effort to make this happen. Okay? That is the only thing that actually requires. So this is what I call, and please make sure to write this down. This is a triangle. Okay? And in this triangle is what I call conscious alignment accelerator triangle. Conscious alignment accelerator triangle. Okay? Meaning that if you have these 3 things, your results will be completely accelerated. Okay? So the first thing that we speak about is the mind rest. The mind reset, sorry. The mind reset. Do you guys remember how I was speaking about this problem right here? Your subconscious mind needs to be decluttered, number 1. How many of you here have how many of you here have overthinking? You suffer of the overthinking disease. Anybody here overthinks everything? Who should I give the prize to? Right. Thank you, Michael. How many of you here like, oh my God, like you go to sleep and your head hurts because you think so much? If your manifestations is based on your superconscious, I'll tell you what happens with the universe, okay? Listen carefully. You're sitting there. And please let me know if anybody can identify yourself with. I should quit my job and start my business. But maybe I shouldn't quit my job. Maybe I should stay and wait and save and do some research and then quit my job. I'm so tired of my manager. I just want to let it go. Maybe I should stay. He seems to be a little bit better today. You know what? I'm going to quit. You go to sleep. I'm not going to quit. Or maybe you have somebody that you want to break up with. I should do this. No, I shouldn't do this. I should tell her how I feel. I shouldn't tell her how I feel. Maybe I should say it. I should tell it to her face. How many of you here replay your scenarios over and over again? So what happens with the universe, I'll tell you what happens with the universe. The universe is getting these messages. How many of you here have ever had someone in your life before where messages like click, 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 like you can see like the chat is like me, like in messages all the time, plip, 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 right? Understand something. The universe is always listening. So how many of you here have ever done an Amazon order? Okay. And imagine today you want to put an order of a phone case. And then you place that order. Okay. Tomorrow, an hour after, I'm sorry, you put the case or you put the order of something else. The next day or the next 2 hours, you put the order of something else. Sometimes people say that manifestation doesn't work. The manifestation actually works. How many of you here have ever prayed for something in your life and only after a few years you get it? Anybody here? You put a manifestation and you say, finally. But what people don't understand is that you have given so many orders to the universe and you have scattered up your opportunities and your options of what you want, that the universe needs to take care of all of these different things, including the things that you're being negative about. How many of you are getting this? So how does overthinking and what happens to your manifestation is you are continuously putting out orders for the universe. Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? Why? Because how many of you realize that we have multiple destinies? We have multiple destinies. What does that mean? It means that if I decide that I want to become an international speaker, I want to become an influence in the world, I want to be this artist, I want to be the singer, that line of this destiny can happen for me. Number one, if I decide to be a shy girl, if I decide to work from a 9-to-5 job, if I decide that I want to be in debt and be depressed and have no purpose whatsoever, how many of you realize that that is also a destiny that I can go down to? How many of you can see this, by the way? Why is that? Because we have free will to be able to create any destiny that we want. The problem is your mind. Are you guys understanding this? So to be able to understand how and what are the specific intentions, what is your specific intention? Number one, you need to reset your mind. You need to declutter your mind. How do you declutter your mind? Can anybody give me some examples inside the chat? What do you need to do? Right? And by the way, some people might think that declutter is a one-time thing. How many of you here have ever seen your room that is completely cluttered? Like it looks like a hurricane just passed, right? Or your house looks messy. Anybody here? You have seen your house a little bit, that needs some declutter? Please make sure to write this down. The same applies to your mind. It is a consistent, ongoing process. It is a consistent, ongoing process. So how do you declutter your mind? Please make sure to write this down. Number one is breath work. Number two is awareness. How many of you here have done affirmations and incantations? Right? And sometimes you think that those things don't work for you. Anybody here? I'm doing this stupid affirmations YouTube video and nothing is happening to me. Anybody here have ever had this before? You do these affirmations and it's like, Angela, it's not working. Anybody here have ever had this before? I'll tell you why it's not working. Because imagine you have your room full of shit, right? And you try to put a nice essence and nice flowers in your room. Is that going to take away the ugliness of the room? Yes or no? That is what happens most of the time when it comes to people. They think that because I'm doing some wishy-washy thingy, all of my BS will go away. But in reality, you need to be able to start becoming aware of your emotions, of your thoughts, and of your actions. Because imagine you say, yes, I want to be abundance. Yes, I want to be abundance. And then you still choose the cheap milk in the store. Are you guys understanding this? How do you become aware of things? Number one, you can start journaling. What are my thoughts? What are my actions? What are my emotions? I say that I want to become a millionaire person. Do I have scarcity? Then you can say, no, Angela, but it's okay. I'm very, open with money. Then you need to look at the other side of life and say, okay, what about the time that you spend time with the people that you love? Do you say that you don't have too much time because I have to work? What about, I don't know, your health? Do you spend enough time taking care of yourself, or you think that, good food is not good for you? Good food is not applied for you because you prefer to spend the money in a good car or a good equipment. You see, the biggest problem of people to be able to achieve abundance is that they always think that it's either this or that. The or part is what is the problem. Because what if you can have it both? How would your life look like if you can say, I can have this and I can have that? Are you guys understanding this? But my question is, how aware are you right now of your current thoughts and your current emotions that actually defines your reality? Because I know that happened to me. I realized that I used to say, I want to be free. I want to be free. I want to live something else. And I was still working at a gym selling memberships. Are you guys understanding this? Until I realized that if I keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, I'm not going to get absolutely different result than what I'm getting. So how do you become aware? Number one, journaling. What is it that I'm saying and what is it that I'm doing? And most importantly, what is it that I'm feeling? Number two, personal development. Anybody here have heard about personal development? Understanding your mind. Understanding the psychology of your mind. How does this whole thing works called life? Why are we here? Let me tell you something. Manifestation is a science, just like math, just like regular chemistry and biology. What if I were to tell you that there are specific formulas that you can use in manifestation to be able to get it fast? Becoming more aware means that you need to have more knowledge about all of these different subjects. Are you guys understanding this? Because you only know what you know. Make sure to write this down. You know what has been given to you by your family, by your peers, by your society. But how many of you realize that there's so many things out there that you actually don't know? I'll give you an example. I thought that the only road to my life and the only destiny that I had was to work with the American government. No way that I would have thought that I would be here at 9 p.m. speaking about manifestations with you guys. Are you guys understanding this? Being open is being aware of life, of the opportunities that the universe can actually provide you. Give me a aha if you understand what I mean, right? So this is how you declutter, because you're not longer thinking about all the potential scenarios and overthinking, but at the same time, you are becoming more aware and becoming open and understanding. Let me see what is out there. What are my different options? Okay. This is how you start decluttering, because you cannot put things here, here, and here without allowing things to go, right? Breath work. Everybody, please do this with me. Take a deep inhale. Slow exhale. One more time, inhale. Slow exhale. One more time, inhale. Slow exhale. How many of you feel more peaceful? Imagine living in a life like this. If you listen, silence is beautiful. How many of you think that if you have a clean sheet of paper and you say, universe, I want to become a millionaire? How many of you realize that the message can get across the universe way faster? Are you guys experiencing this with me? So decluttering your mind, breath work. What type of breath work? Actually, in Manifesting Miracles, we do a very powerful breath work. It's called breath work to heaven. Okay? And this breath work to heaven, we activate the solar plexus, your belly. How many of you realize you have your manifestation powers is in your belly, right? How many of you feel that sometimes you're not motivated? Sometimes you lack of energy to do things, right? Is all of this energy that we have here. So what we do, we activate this energy. Then we go all the way to our third channel, to a third eye, and then we connect into a meditation. Make sure to write it down. Meditation. We actually do this. It's actually a very powerful breath work because we declutter and we connect. Okay. And so what happens when you connect, you go into a meditative state. What does that mean? How many of you here meditate, by the way? Give me meditation inside the chat. Okay. And what do you understand by meditation? What do you understand by meditation? Calm mind, clear mind, focus, observing peace, clarity, silence. Actually, is it okay if I throw you off? Meditation, please make sure to write this down, is in what I've understood, truthfully, is creation. Why do we go through the third eye to meditate? Because how many of you realize that there is another dimension apart from this one? There is something called higher self, is it not? We have different versions of ourselves. Our soul has many potential destinies. Yes or yes? And I know I'm going a little bit cuckoo. How many of you here are actually going to Manifesting Miracles? Anybody here going to Manifesting Miracles? Type MM. I see some of you are yes. So those of you who are going to Manifesting Miracles, Master is going to speak about all of the different things, the woo-woo-ness side of things. But just to give you a brief understanding, is that when you finally have decluttered your mind and reset your mind, actually what happens is that when you go into your third eye and meditate, you're actually creating that destiny. You're bringing your desires from your heart, from what you think it is, your heart, your soul. You're putting it out there, you're creating it, and then you're bringing it back to this reality. That is meditation, to create outside and bring it here. And this is why I love manifesting miracles because this is the fastest way to declutter and get aligned. Does that make sense? But for you, understanding that meditation is creation and understanding the right techniques and tools to be able to create on the outside, to be able to bring it inside. Are you guys understanding this? So if it is to calm your mind, you do breath work. If you are to create, is in meditation. There's so many other different ways of meditating, which Master is going to explain in Manifesting Miracles. And this is something that we do on the third day. We actually get the reality that we want. We bring it into this reality. Okay. So number 1, mind resets. Number 2, please make sure to write this down. Align with your intention setting. Align with your intention setting. How many of you here have more than 3 to 4 manifestations that you want to manifest, more than 3 things in your life? Anybody here have like a whole list of what you want to manifest? You have multiple manifestations, yes or yes? Okay. We actually always work on 4 pillars. Please make sure to write this down. Your health, your wealth, your relationship, and your purpose. There are 4 pillars that we usually work with. Why is that? Because how many of you realize that, let's say you're super healthy, but you have no money? What happens? Will that affect your reality, yes or no? You could be very happy and excited, but if cash is not coming in, then you cannot do many other things, yes or yes? But what if you have all the wealth in your life and there is no money on earth that can give you a better health? How many of you here have ever had those? How many of you here have ever known those type of people? Right? Money can buy health if you know how to use it at that specific time. But how many of you realize that sometimes there are illness that it cannot be cured with money? How many of you realize this? Right? Or what happened with relationship? You have a lot of money, you have a lot of health, and you have no love in your life. Anybody here have ever known any of celebrities out there? They're super successful, they're super healthy, and for some strange reason, they end up killing themselves. Anybody here have ever known these people? Why is that? What happened with their relationships? Why did they couldn't feel love? They couldn't connect? Or more importantly, is their purpose? How many of you here know that sometimes in life there could be people who have health, who have wealth, who have relationship, and this is the biggest thing that people lack? Or sometimes, how many of you know what is your purpose in life? Right? And some people might know their purpose in life, but they don't know what is their health. They don't have health, they don't have wealth, and they don't have relationship. So when it comes to creating that destiny, creating your desires in this lifetime, please make sure to write this down. You need to align your intention setting. You need to work on the 4 different levels, because some people say, yes, I want to manifest, I want to be with the love of my life and travel the world. And some people left aside that, hey, by the way, what if you get sick and you cannot travel? If you don't manifest for a good body and good health, how are you going to travel the world and be with the love of your life? Are you guys understanding this? And if I were to have time, which by the way, I'm overrunning, I should be wrapping up already, I will go into this whole intention setting, which by the way, we do it in Manifesting Miracles. It takes us about 3 hours or so, because what we do, please make sure to write this down so you can do it on you, hopefully. But we work on these 4 levels. The first thing that we work on your reprogramming of your subconscious mind. How many of you believe that you have some limiting beliefs in your mind? Right? So what we do, we actually first target the limiting beliefs, number 1. Number 2, we create personalized affirmations, meaning that we help you to reprogram your subconscious mind. So those personalized affirmations you're doing on a day-to-day basis at the same time of being aware of your surroundings, of your life. And at the same time, we set your intentions. Actually, that happens on day number 2. So it's a 3-hour work that you can do also. Health, wealth, relationship, purpose. And number 4, we script things out. But become aware of what you're scripting. Okay? These 4 things, once we script it out, then what happens? We put an actionable plan. How many of you here want to become a millionaire, by the way? A manifestation beast, manifest money, right? But how many of you has ever had a manifestation in your life where you see that manifestation, or you see that dream, you see that desire, and 2 things happen? Number 1, you have no idea how will that happen. You have no idea how will that come into your reality. Or number 2, that dream, that goal, that desire, you're very scared about that. Anybody here? So what we do is something called straight line manifestation mapping. Make sure to write this down. Straight line manifestation mapping. And what we do in that straight line manifestation mapping, we go step by step. Not only setting up your intention, but writing down how you can actually achieve that manifestation. So you know exactly what you need to do in order to get that. How many of you think that will be pretty cool, by the way? And that is why it takes us 3 hours or a little bit more sometimes, because once you do that, please make sure to write this down. We set it and we forget it. We say, okay, I have put my intentions, I have scripted out, I have worked on my reprogramming. And then what do? We set it, we forget it. And then, please make sure to write this down. This is my favorite part. We work on the superconscious. Remember how I told you that we had three minds? We're usually on this subconscious mind. Sometimes we are only 5% of our time are into the conscious when you're calling out your affirmations. And many times, many people are not even in the superconscious mind. What happened with the superconscious mind? I'll give you a little bit of explanation so you guys understand. Your superconscious mind is, number 1, connecting truly to your higher self. How many of you here have done some manifestations in your life? Let's say that you get that dream that you thought you wanted, and you finally achieved that dream. You finally achieved that job. And then you sit in your desk and you see your reality and you say, I thought that this job was going to be different. I thought that that dream life that people will paint on the TV was going to be different. And I don't like this anymore. Anybody here have ever had this before? And then you say, you know what? I want to do something different. And then you go into the next thing. And then you achieve that next thing. And then you're like, actually, this is not what I wanted either. Anybody here have ever had this before? You chase something, and you're not fulfilled. Why is that? It's because the biggest problem that happens, especially with us human, is that we are not aligned with what the higher self of ourselves truly want for us. Let me tell you something. If I would have gone through my life fulfilling my parents' desires, you and I would have never met. You and I would have never met, and I would have never tell you anything that I'm saying today. But because number one, please make sure to write this down, I was open to something new. Number two, I felt the fear and I did it anyway. Because we all agree, yes, that doing things out of our comfort zone is very scary. How many of you here have done something out of your comfort zone? Let me tell you something. When I started my journey and when I traveled all the way to India, when I went to my first actual manifesting miracles, I don't know about you, but how many of you here have ever invested into personal development? Anybody here have ever invested into personal development? Okay, perfect. And how many of you here have invested into university? Let me ask you a question. Have you gotten more out of university or out of personal development? Type inside the chat. Let me tell you something. My family invested over $40,000 into my university. I, from my pocket, Angela, took out $5,000 and invested into personal development. I think right now I've invested over also more than 40K into my personal development. But let me tell you something, that investment has been the best investment that I have done in my life. And by the way, I come from a place called Colombia. I don't know if anybody knows about this place in South America. And $5,000 is not a little bit, it's a lot. And my family, and I don't know how many of you here might identify with this, but personal development is not even a thing. Like, you're crazy if you invest in yourself. Anybody here have ever had this before? Like, you say, I'm going to have a coach, or I'm going to go into this. And they're like, what are you talking about? Just go to school and work, right? That is the type of family that I had. And so the first time that I actually invested in myself, number one, I was in huge debt. Number two, I was going into the unknown. What if it didn't work out? I'm investing over $5,000 for something that I don't even know that is going to work. How many of you realize that that's very scary? But what did I do? I was open. Because why? The universe is always working for me. Are you guys understanding this? I was open. I felt the fear. I'm not going to lie. Because I felt the fear every single step of the way. $5,000. Oh my God, is this actually going to work? What I'm going to tell my parents? What if it doesn't work? I just lost $5,000. Are you guys understanding this? But let me ask you a question. How many of you here have ever invested money in something that you don't even know that it's actually, it didn't even work? Anybody here have ever invested in, I used to invest that in all the time, like Herbalife and like, what is the thing? Like all of these different things. And that money never came back. The benefits of it never came back. Right? University benefits never came back. If anything, how many of you here still a little bit of debt from university? Right? So I felt the fear and I did it anyway. I did something out of the extraordinary. I said, I need to do something different. And as a result, I was able to now experience, and please make sure to write this down, surrender. And this is something that a lot of the times people get a little bit, how to surrender. Actually, those of you who are coming to Manifest Miracles, we're going to speak about surrendering. I surrender myself to the knowledge of my higher self. Please make sure to write this down. Because how many of you believe that each one of you come with a purpose in this lifetime? You come to this world for a specific task. But unfortunately, we are in this ongoing cycle of fulfilling other people's expectation just because that's what society has told us. And it's not until you actually work with the superconscious to, number one, understand what is it that you're truly meant to do in this lifetime. But at the same time, leverage, please make sure to write this down, leverage the collective energy. How many of you here have had some sort of manifestations in your life before? Right? And how many of you believe that you have something powerful in your energy field? Like your energy is powerful. How do I know that? It's very simple. How many of you here have ever voted on some elections, governmental elections? Anybody here? Right? Sometimes people say, oh, my vote doesn't matter, right? Imagine that one person say, oh, my vote doesn't matter. One. The other person said, my vote doesn't matter. Another person said, my vote doesn't matter. Another person said, oh, my vote doesn't matter. And then like that, a lot of people will say that my vote doesn't matter. Then after some time, you realize that at least 20% of the population said that their vote didn't matter. Let me ask you a question. Is this a big percentage to make a change in a decision, yes or no? So now let me ask you a question. Imagine if you're working, if you're putting an intention out there, and this is you, little tiny you. And little tiny you says, universe, I want money. I want abundance. I want fulfillment in my life. Then from there, the universe will look at you as a little tiny dot. Okay? And then the universe will be like, okay, Lauren, okay, I see her. Cool. We'll put it into the petition box, right? Into the petition box, the intention box. So then you're there. You're not in the priority, you're there. You already put your intention, okay? But then imagine over 200 people come here and say, by the way, universe, we want to be abundant and we want to have love and positivity and we want to achieve all greatness. How many of you realize that if the universe sees a bunch of crazy people vibrating at the same level of positivity and love and connection, how many of you realize that the universe is entitled to give you what you're asking for? How many of you realize this? How many of you here have kids? And you have one little baby, mommy, please give me ice cream. One little one. You say, not right now, not right now. Imagine 3 little babies saying, I want ice cream. Ice cream. What is left for you to do is to buy them the ice cream, yes or no? The same happens with the universe. The universe is here. They see one, they say, okay, well, okay, it's fine. We're going to take care of that demand in a bit. But imagine all of you come as a, please make sure to write it down, as a collective energy to demand something. This is why when you're manifesting in a collective energy, manifestations of your desires come 10 times more faster. Are you guys understanding this? Because you are calling the universe and saying, you're no longer here by yourself, but it's all of us saying, excuse me, we have energy here. We want something from you. There is no other option than the universe to give to you. And this is why I personally, and this is something that we do in Manifesting Miracles, actually the 3rd day. The 3rd day is one of the most powerful days, because imagine having over 1,000 people. Usually we have about 500 plus. Okay. How many of you realize that 500 people out of all the population makes a difference overall? How many of you can see this? So not only number one, you need to declutter your mind, work in all of this BS that's working. Okay. Breath work. You need to start being open. Okay. Aware of your BS. And let me tell you something. How many of you here have ever realized that you're not that perfect as you thought you would be? And how many of you, you're like, you feel bad about yourself and you go into a victim mode and you say, you know what? Whatever. This is not for me. But how many of you realize that if we come to an agreement that neither of us are perfect? How many of you realize that you're not perfect? I'm not perfect. None of us is perfect. Otherwise, we would not be here at all. But if we realize that, okay, let me be aware of this, let me help you and change it with love and compassion, how many of you realize that will be a different story? Are you guys understanding this? So that's why it's very important that when you look into this, please make sure to write this down and make a quotation. Be kind with yourself. Because if you were to be perfect, you wouldn't be here. And this is the whole journey, right? But you need to go through this to be able to go into the other side and achieve all of these manifestations. Everybody getting this, yes? So number one, mind reset. How do you do that? Declutter, breath work, awareness, meditation, creation, right? Number two, align your intention setting, reprogramming your mind. What are the BS that you need to work on? Understanding that if you're going to work on a subconscious level, how can you create new patterns, new beliefs about this reality? How many of you here have more negative thoughts than positive thoughts sometimes? Right? Be honest with me. Imagine you're having positive thought after positive thought after positive thought. How many of you think that that will be pretty cool for your manifestations? Right? Created a new pattern into your mindset. Working on your intention setting, script out everything that you need to do, how you need to do it. What is the emotion that you put in? And number three, which is very important, learn what is it that the superconscious wants from you. So then you will no longer have that problem of, is this for me? I don't like this. Let me do something. Are you guys understanding this? I know that because I'll tell you 100%. I know what my purpose is. My purpose is to be able to help people shine their light, empower people, help them do their manifestations, achieve their manifestations. From here, it's called development of the soul. I don't need to keep chasing the next car or the next thing or the next that. I'm only developing myself, becoming more and more and more aware to achieve awakening. How many of you like the sound of that? Ooh, right? So imagine taking care of all of your life and developing as a soul, living fulfilled and happy and 100% living your higher purpose. How many of you will like that, by the way? So when you align these three things, your mindset, your alignment with your superconscious, this is how you actually get to manifest from just thinking your reality to creating your reality. Are you guys understanding this? How many of you learned something today, by the way? Give me a me inside the chat, a yes inside the chat. Beautiful. And how many of you here would like to learn a little bit more about how to put this into action? how to action it, all of the different things. Very good. Beautiful. So someone was asking before about manifesting miracles. Anybody here would like to know more about this event, by the way? Give me an MM inside the chat if you want to know more. What is it that we do in all of the different things? Okay, very good. So is it okay for me to share with you what is it that we do? And if anybody would like to be part of it, is that okay for me to share that with everybody? Yes? And then what I would like to do is at the end, after I share in the next 5-10 minutes, it's not going to be that long, I can answer more questions about anything that you have. Is that okay? So if you have any questions about the superconscious or anything, I can go a little bit deep into that. I already signed up for it. Very good. Congratulations, Cedric. Okay, beautiful. So if you can please write this down very quickly so we can go into the Q&A. It's called manifesting miracles. Please make sure to write it down. Manifesting miracles. Okay. Now, what is manifesting miracles? Please make sure to write this down. It's a 3-day event. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. And in this 3-day event, we go deep into manifestation tools and techniques. Day number 1 is all about this thing right here. It's all about the declutter and the reprogramming. So what we do, literally, we get your brain, we open it up, we open up your scalp, and then we see all of the shit that you might have, okay? And we clean everything. We help you declutter as much as possible with breathwork to heaven, with different meditations, going back into your childhood meditation and just cleaning all of the different things, okay? After we clean, on day number 2, we help you align your intentions, day number 2. We still leave the thing open, okay? The homework for the first day is not to think, is no thinking whatsoever. Second day, you come back. After we have taken all of this BS, we then put everything in, the new things, the new positive affirmations, we put in all of the new intentions, we set everything. We give you all the new information, okay? After this, day number 3, we put the skull back. Okay? What do you call it? You tie it back again. And then on day number 3, we go deep into the woo-woo-ness of the universe. How many of you like that, by the way? How many of you would like to learn more about how do you win the human game? Anybody here interested about why do we wake up every day? Who puts sleep? Do you guys know why you sleep? Who said that you needed to sleep 8 to 9 hours? Was that scientist? Or did somebody out there energy said that you should sleep? For what purpose? To meditate, to rest, to go into a different dimension where you have a different life? Anybody here have ever wondered about these things, by the way? So all of these woo-ness, how many of you like woo-ness? I see Sakili like, yes, I like those topics. So all of these different things happens on day number 3. Okay, so it is a complete package. How many of you would like to be part of all of this, by the way? It is a very, I see Simon like, yes, me. Okay, I see all of you very excited. So what's going to happen is a 3-day event. Please make sure to write this down. It's going to be way longer than this. It's about 72 hours of training. But how many of you realize that is deep training? Like, one of the things that I like about manifesting miracles is that people that have not been able to manifest in years actually end up manifesting in weeks. There was actually a lady who was trying to get pregnant for at least 7 years. She came to Manifesting Miracles after few weeks or so, she got pregnant. This is why we call it manifesting miracles. Okay. So it's 72 hours, 3-day complete. It's going to happen on March. Please make sure to write this down. March 29 to the 31st. I know what you're saying. I can hear you guys. Angela, but I have work. It's Friday. I cannot do it. It's Saturday. I need to wash my cat. It's Sunday. I need to go to church, right? How many of you realize that if you keep giving yourself excuses, you're going to get the same results? Anybody here realize this? There you go. We spent your birthday together, Michael, right? If you keep giving yourself excuses, you will only get yourself excuses, okay? So what do you need to do? Be open for it, feel the fear and do it anyway. And for those of you who say, oh no, but I cannot take work off. How many of you here have ever called for sick, saying that you're sick, but you actually were not sick and you didn't go to sleep? You didn't go to work? I see some of you like, well, maybe so, right? Now, the times, please make sure to write this down, is 9 a.m. Dubai time. Now, I know some of you might be saying, oh, Angela, that is very early, but how many of you are actually serious about your manifestations? I mean, can you please type inside the chat, what is your time right now? What is your time zone? 19 hours. What else? 8 p.m., 6 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 a.m. Can we please give somebody at 2 a.m. a big round of applause? But how many of you realize that the universe has no other option than to give you what you want because you're demanding it with your actions? And this is what I want you guys to understand. Because if you keep saying, no, I'll do it from 9 to 5, guys, are you guys getting this? So number one is a 3-day event. Is an online event. Please make sure to write it down, meaning that you will get the opportunity to tune in from home. There is no need to travel anywhere. You're going to be from the comfort of your home. And what I want to do, is it okay if I do something nice for everybody? How many of you like nice things in your life, right? I spoken with the team before I came in. Those of you, how many of you here will be interested to attend this event? Give me an MM inside the chat. I would like to do something very, very special because I believe that you guys are the winners for running through the finish line. And I believe that how you show up is everything. And when I attended to my first event, I attended with this ticket. And please make sure to write this down. I want to give you the platinum ticket. Everybody give me a woo. Luxury. Luxury. Not a VIP ticket, but a platinum ticket. Okay? Because I believe that each one of you that are here right now, you're serious about your manifestation. And so what I'm going to do is I would like to sponsor majority of the tuition of this ticket for some of you. How many of you would like to have some sponsorship? We can help you to get this ticket. By the way, if you were to go into our website, this ticket itself is $4,997. Okay? Meaning that it's about $5,000. But I want to actually sponsor the majority of this for people who are serious about their manifestations. How many of you are serious? Type serious inside of the chat. Serious, very serious. Are you sure? Okay, I see a lot of serious. So I'll tell you how it works in a minute. Okay, but what I want to let you know about Platinum is not only you will get admission for this, but please make sure to write this down. You will get full recordings of the the event. Why do we give recordings? How many of you here found some value in today's masterclass? Raise your hand and say hi for me, right? Now imagine 3 complete days of value, teachings, and techniques to be able to actually align yourself, right? So what we want to do is to give you lifetime recordings for you to use it anytime you need it. But at the same time, you can also gift it to someone who might need it, a friend, a family. Let me tell you something. When I found out about my sister, the first thing that I did was I gave her access to Manifesting Miracles. Are you guys getting this? Because I know that it's so, so powerful, especially people who have gone through this program, people who have felt suicidal, they go through this event and their life completely changed. So this is why we want to give you full recordings. Is that okay for everybody? Also, I would like to give you the opportunity of Amma. Please make sure to write this down. Is Ask Master Sri Akarshana anything. So this training is going to be hosted by Master and probably by myself, but mainly it's going to be Master. And for those of you who do not know Master, actually he was given the blessing to become a master from the Himalayan mountains. Anybody here familiar with the Himalayan mountains? It's a very powerful spiritual energy place, okay? And so he has the blessing to help more people to be able to get their manifestations. Does that make sense? So Master Sri Akarshana will be hosting this event. And this is why I want you to get the opportunity to ask him. How many of you think that will be pretty cool to ask him questions? He's the one who taught me all of this, by the way. Okay. He's the one who knows even more than I do. Okay. So how many of you think that will be pretty cool? Not only that, is it okay if I invite you to dinner with him? How many of you realize that the best conversations you have had is in the kitchen having food? Anybody here have ever had this before? When you have a nice coffee and you speak about life? So what we want to do is we want to give you a web dinner. How is going to happen? You're going to come into a space like this. You're going to have your food and you're going to ask questions to Master. This is what we call a one-to-one kind of group coaching session. Because a lot of the times, personally in my life, I've had many times where I need clarity. Anybody here stuck with something in life or don't have clarity in something in life? And how many of you realize that the thing that maybe might work with Simon might not be the same thing that might work with Michael? How many of you get this? And so not only you will get the opportunity to come and learn from him, but actually get deep clarity in what is it that you need to do with your life. How many of you think that will be pretty cool, by the way? I know that when I had this opportunity and I had this opportunity itself, everything changed for me because I kind of understood what is it that I really wanted to do with my life. So I want you guys to have the same thing. Is that okay? So all of this is value at this. But I was speaking with Master and I told him, Master, is it okay if I give them 2 more things? Is that okay? Can I give you 2 more things? Because I know that after the 3-day event, you guys will have a lot of questions. How many of you here have a lot of questions about life and sometimes they don't get answered, right? So what I wanted to do, please make sure to write this down, is called Open Portal. With Master for a whole year. Please make sure to write it down. For a whole year, 12 months. What does that mean? It means that after Manifesting Miracles, you'll get from that day onwards until the whole year, every month, you will come into a call and get coaching with Master Sri Akarshana. By the way, Master's coaching like this is easily more than 100K. Are you guys getting this? So imagine being able to have a mentor, a coach that can guide you even after this event. How many of you think that will be pretty cool? Do you guys want to know the fastest way of my growth? Do you guys want to know what has been the fastest way of my growth? Actually, it has been the guidance from Master. He has told me, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that, because this is your path. This is the destiny that you're meant to live. And as a result, ta-da! I'm an international speaker. I'm impacting lives. I'm fulfilling my destiny. Are you guys understanding this? So I would love for you guys to have the same thing, because this thing right here will be the game changer for you. Is that okay for everybody? So by the way, this is worth about $6,000. But again, I'm going to give some sort of a sponsorship. So how many of you here would still like to have the sponsorship? Give me a sponsorship inside the chat. Give me a sponsorship if you want to have some sort of a sponsorship. Very good, beautiful. And the last thing, please make sure to write this down, is called the manifestation tribe. What does that mean? How many of you realize that all of this will feel a little bit lonely if we don't have a soul family? How many of you realize this? How many of you here have gone through different programs and you're like, okay, I'm by myself here. Oh, I'll see that person. That's cool. But how many of you realize that if you were to have a family, a soul family that can help you through the next year to achieve your manifestations, how many of you think that that would be pretty cool? Right? Let me tell you something. Because of this community, I've been able to grow so much because my peers will allow me to see things that I have not seen about myself, and it will allow me to grow in a different level. So is it okay if you can get a manifestation tribe, but exclusive manifestation tribe for only Platinum members? Is that okay for everybody? Meaning that if all of you join, which by the way, I cannot take all of you because Master's time is very limited. Okay, how many of you here would like to be part of this package, by the way, of all of these different things? Give me a one inside the chat if you would like to be part of Master Shia Karshana's inner circle. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1 second. I cannot count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Okay, I cannot count. You guys are too fast and too many. We cannot do it for so many. We actually have people already inside the Platinum tribe, so we only have a limited space. So right now, okay, is it okay? Maybe the team can confirm this with me. Is it okay we do it for 17 people only? How many of you would like to be part of the 17? Type 17 inside the chat. Why? Because I believe that not everybody is serious about their manifestations. And I want to, number one, Master doesn't have so much time. And I want to make it a very exclusive for those people who are serious about the manifestations, yeah? So 17 is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, still a lot. Okay, so very quickly, this is valued at 1,497. Can anybody please tell me inside the chat the total amount of this, please? What is the total amount of 4,997, 6,000, and 1,497? How much is that? Okay, 12,000. 12,500. Everybody agrees with this, yes? Is that the right amount? Yes? I don't know. You guys tell me. I have not even calculated.